Welcome to part 3 of a communication series entitled Did You Hear Me? In lesson 1, we talked about the difference between active and passive listening. In lesson 2, we discussed the first 2 keys to increase your relational comprehension. And number 1 was talk to the creator. And number 2 was, and I went blank. Number 2 was practice patience. That's right, practice patience. Today we're going to talk about the last 3 keys. And number 3 is fix the filter. Now, filters are a big deal. What is a filter? What is a filter? Coach Yolanda, what's a filter, Minister Yo? A filter is the way we hear what another person is saying. Just think about an imaginary, clear wall that's between you and I, and that there are certain things that you say that can get through that wall, and I can hear you and understand you clearly. But there are other things that you may say that won't be able to get through that clear wall. I can see you. I can't hear you. I see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you because of this clear wall. That clear wall is a filter, and it is the compilation of life experiences, negative thought patterns, things that have happened to us and those around us that have built up, let's say, a wall that allows certain things to come in and certain things to come out. More than likely, most people who have an issue with a filter, and I think we all have filters to a certain degree, but we're talking about the ones who have like serious emotional triggers. The people who have been hurt in past relationships that just never dealt with it, or hurt in parental relationships or grandparent relationships, just never dealt with that hurt and that pain, and now they're in a new relationship and the new person is having a fit, experiencing all kind of craziness because the person they're with is not emotionally whole. Which, if you attend any of my premarital classes, you know that Minister Yo is big on emotional wholeness before you get married. However, there are those of us who were not emotionally whole when we got married. So, for those of us who were not, ta-da, this lesson is for you. Number 1, fix your filter. It is not your spouse's responsibility to walk on eggshells because you got a filter that can't handle certain conversations. Think about the person, let's say it's a girl who maybe she grew up in a home where her dad wasn't present. He didn't live with them. And so she was in bad relationship after bad relationship. Let's say she is experiencing rejection, she has low self-esteem, and she is just emotionally a wreck. But let's say God shows her grace and he sends her a good man. And this good man wants to love her back to wholeness. And so they decide to get married. And then they decide, we need to go to counseling. And during the counseling session, they figure out that she has an issue with trust because of her past relationships. It's like every boyfriend she had was unfaithful to her. And so she has come up in her mind with this wall that she puts up to keep herself from getting hurt in relationships. And now she's married, and guess what? The wall is still there. So now she won't let her husband in because she's afraid if I let him in, he could hurt me, even though he's given her no reason to assume that this will be the case. So she is dealing with a filter. We would call her filter lack of trust. She has trust issues or daddy issues. Yes. So fixing that filter is not her husband's responsibility. It's her responsibility to, let's go back to last week, pray and ask the Holy Spirit, hey, something's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? And seek his face until he tells you personally or through someone else what your issue is. Then let's do some research on that topic. Let's sign ourselves up for counseling and be patient, because fixing the filter is your responsibility. The spouse that does not have the major issue, because we all have issues. So the spouse that does not have the major issue, your responsibility is to create a safe space for the other person to land, to be empathetic, to listen, to care, to be there, not to judge, not to criticize, not to bring it up whenever you have an argument. Oh, you crazy. That's why you go into counseling. Nope. Not appropriate. Don't do that. Your job is to be a safe space because she needs to build her trust back up. And, you know, lack of trust is like a woman whose husband has committed adultery and the trust is completely destroyed and now they have to build it back up. In the same way, she's going to have to build trust back up, which means she may ride by your job and see if you're caught there. She may text you 15 times, try to respond. She may call you 8 times a day. She might. Because she's working through, can I trust him? Be patient. Encourage her to seek counseling. Encourage her to seek counseling alone and to seek counseling as a couple. She may even benefit from a coach, someone that can walk her through some goals, that walk her through helping her learn how to communicate better. But fixing that filter is your responsibility, not your spouse's responsibility. They can't hear you because of the filter. You're not even talking to them. You're talking to the filter. Like back in the day, my husband would say something about something I had on. What I heard was, "Oh, I look fat." No, that was not what he said, but that's what I heard through my filter of being ridiculed about my weight growing up by my dad. And so whenever somebody says something about weight, I hear that through the filter. You know, everybody has a filter. Everybody has one. But knowing your trigger that makes that filter pop up, that's the key. Dr. Dharius Daniels said this. He said that your spouse does not deserve to serve the life sentence for a crime that they didn't commit. Your spouse shouldn't have to suffer with your filter because somebody else hurt you in the past and you hadn't gotten over it. I heard that, I was like, PD, The Bible says it like this. It says, above all things, guard your heart, for out of it flows the issues or the trauma of life. I added trauma because that's what those issues are. Whatever's in your heart, it's going to flow out. So we got to guard our heart. Can we stop ourselves from ever being hurt? No. Hurt is going to come, but it's how you respond to the hurt. That's what makes the difference. People will try you and say all kind of crazy things and do all kind of crazy things. The devil will send them and encourage them to do it to get you an offense. So you can be offended and not walk in love, because faith walks by love. So, hey, if I'm in offense, then it's a great possibility my prayer won't be answered. And so I have to choose to truly, truly forgive. Go figure. I have to truly forgive. What? Forgive? Forgive. Let it go. Because the person may not have meant it the way it came out. What you heard through your filter. And so it came across to you as hurtful. That was not their intention. They were just saying that wasn't a cute color on you. They weren't saying you look fat in the dress. But the filter allowed me to hear the negative and not the positive. I hope I'm making sense. And number 4, imprison the impulses. Check your reactions. Don't blow up. Don't pop off the handle. If you didn't understand what your spouse said, ask a clarifying question. Say, are you trying to say that red makes me look fat? No, that's not what I said, Miss Young. What I said was, you look better in blue. Oh, just checking. Filter. Monitor your immediate reactions. Don't react, respond. Don't ruin your witness or your relationship over something you misunderstood. Because how many of you know that some words you can't take back? No matter how many times you say, I'm sorry, it won't change the fact that you said what you said. You can't talk about my mama and then say, I'm sorry, I ain't mean it, I was just mad. That don't change the fact what you said about my mama. I'm going to feel some kind of way because you said something about my mama. Proverbs 29:11 says this: fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end. So do you want to be a fool, or do you want to be wise in your conversation? I didn't say it, the Bible said it. Monitor your immediate reactions. Don't blow up, don't fly off. Think before you speak. Think, what are the consequences if I say this about his mama? What is the consequences if I call him a big head, fish-eyed fool? You got to think about these things. You can't be so caught up in the moment, so caught up in, I don't believe they said that, I don't believe they did that. You can't get so caught up in that you tear your whole marriage up. You cannot. You must respond and not react. You must be wise and not foolish. And number 5, this is big: arrest the arrogance. Arrogance? Miss I'm not arrogant. Yes. Yes. It says, arrogance creates a false sense of self and an inflated ego that makes it difficult to listen, difficult to empathize, and to comprehend another person's perspective. I can't hear you because you telling me something's wrong with me and I'm perfect. Ain't nothing wrong with me. That's arrogance. Nobody's perfect but Jesus. And since you're not him, you're imperfect. And it could just be a possibility that there's something wrong with you. Arresting the arrogance means that the person is only open to hearing what doesn't threaten or contradict the image that they have created in their minds about themselves. You mean to tell me I'm not perfect? You mean to tell me I'm 5'7", not 6 feet tall? All stuff you create in your mind. You 5'7", sir. You are not 6 feet tall. You're not 5'11". You're 5'7". You're 5'7", sir. It's okay. It's all right. Arrest that arrogance. Let it go. You have fault, and God is here to help you deal with it. Those are the 5 keys to increasing relational comprehension. Number 1, recap. Consult the Creator or pray. Number 2, practice patience. Number 3, fix your filter. Number 4, imprison the impulses. And number 5, arrest the arrogance. That's a mouthful. I could talk about each one of those for about 30 minutes, but I won't hold you. I just wanted you to get the revelation that we all have filters. We all have things we need to work on. But if we're open, the Holy Spirit can do a work in us that will cause us to be better and will cause us to have great relational comprehension, because it's important when we're communicating with others that we not only talk, but that we're able to listen and make adjustments to make our relationships better. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and share. Hop over to my LinkedIn profile and click the link to my Stand store and sign up for a one-on-one coaching session with me. I would love to pour into you and help you set some relationship goals and meet them before the year is out. It's not too late. It is not too late in the year to meet those goals and those milestones that you set for yourself the first of the year. It's not too late. All things are possible to him who believes. I hope this series blessed you and that you saw the flip side of communication, that talking is not the only thing, but what you hear, actively listening, is just as important as what you say. That's my best shot. Until next time, go in God.